Hi, this is Amy from Mimi, Myself, and I Designs, and today I am going to attempt to make my first video tutorial, and we're going to make this adorable little box from the new Close to My Heart Cricut Artiste collection. This box can be found on page 52 of the Artiste Handbook. It's this little blue box down here, and this is it up in this corner. It's on the 3D object key. And then, since I made this in CCR, the Cricut Craft Room online design studio, I was able to size it across this way. It's 8 inches across exactly. So it will fit on an 8 by 12 sheet of paper. And I was also able to put this little pumpkin face on it. And it's in the Artiste cartridge as well. It's on page 77 on the accent 3 key. So, if you use CCR, you can easily do this. Otherwise, you can cut them out separately and glue all the pieces on. But I didn't want to do that, so I cut out a 3 by 4 inch piece of paper as well, which I am going to adhere to the orange paper. I am using my ATG adhesive. I use it for most all of my 3D objects. I just find that it holds together really well. And I'm going to put this on the back side, which will be the inside of the box. And there we go. I didn't have to deal with putting on all these separate pieces for each box because I'm making several of them. So, now, for the box assembly, it's very easy to do. We actually have, there's a separate pamphlet for the Artiste cartridge, which is right here, that gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do this. But you'll see that it's very easy. We don't even need to have a scoreboard in order to do this. The scores that are it's pre-scored with the Cricut cartridge. So then basically all you need to do is fold on those score marks. And I like to use my bone folder on the edges of the boxes. It just gives it a little bit more of a crisp line. These little tabs, though, they just fold really easily. You don't need to use the bone folder on them. So I just continue to find the score marks. Now, I've been making several of these, so I already know where they all are and where to look for them. And I missed that one. So, but that's the nice thing about paper. It can be very forgiving in some cases. So if you get in a hurry and do that, you can easily fix it. So there's really no rhyme or reason to the order that I do these folds in. I just kind of, whichever ones move me to do them first. Now, here's a good example. If you see how the score mark leaves a little bit of a gap in it, I like to take my bone folder and kind of use it to curve that section of the paper over. And then it's not quite so much of a gap. It doesn't show so much. So it's kind of bother me. But that's easily fixed. And you might end up doing that depending on the thickness of your paper. If you're using a really heavy cardstock, and this one is, you might end up doing that more than if you're using a lighter cardstock. It really depends on the paper. And this one has a texture to it, which tends to mess with it as well. So, I just didn't want to spend any money on the supplies for this for the class, so I have a lot of products on hand, and I just wanted to use what I had. So, bend those around a little bit more. Some of you may not be quite as much of a perfectionist as I am, but there we go. We have all our edges folded, so now we can assemble it. And I'll flip it back over. And the only flaps that get the adhesive are these. Wow, that's a squeaky, it's very squeaky today. Right on these two long sides, and then these two bottom small flaps. The two flaps at the top you do not need to add adhesive to because it's just like the top of a box and it'll just fold in. Anyhow, this box requires very little adhesive. So then I just like to kind of hold this in and bring up the bottom, line up the edge, and then press that down. You can do that same thing with the other side. There you go. Line it up and press it down. And you can just press it down harder by putting it down on the table. And these longer sides are just a little bit more tricky, but not terrible at all. Same thing, just line it up with that edge and press down. And I like to give it a flip and make sure it's really pressed down well. We don't want our treat boxes coming apart and candy spilling out everywhere. So there we go. Now these flaps just fold in, and the lid for the box goes like this. Now you can use a Velcro tab to hold this treat box closed, or what I'm going to do is use my hole punch and punch 2 holes and then tie it shut with some twine. And then I'm going to fill it with goodies, and then the kids in my daughter's class will be super thrilled, I think. So anyhow, that is how to make this cute little box from the Cricut Artiste collection. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope to be making more sometime. Again, this is Amy from Mimi, Myself, and I Designs. You can find my blog at www.mimimyselfandi.blogspot.com. Thanks. Bye.